Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Supernatural Files. Tonight we will discover why this is as evil as this, and while this could be more religious than this. Paranormal investigation is one thing, paranormal research is another. I've often spoken before about people following a belief and religion blindly. Everything that I know, I have studied very hard for. The other things that I know about the other side, I've been a pupil of these guys for a number of years now, which has given me a lot of attributes, a great deal of knowledge, and even greater wisdom and understanding of how things are and how things should be. I had a question raised by somebody on YouTube, Mark Porritt, very inquisitive gentleman, and he's quite right. He said, Don, the last couple of videos you put up, you've got an inverted pentagram behind you. Why? That might put people off, particularly Christians. Good point, Mark Porritt. Also, Steve Murray, colleague of mine I've worked with many times over many years, who understands me. I spoke to him on the phone the other day, and he saw this. He said, Don, that's a pretty interesting thing you've got behind you. Yes, Steve, it is. For the record, this here represents everything as far as I'm concerned. Who I am and what I do and what it's all about. This is the supernatural. To me, this is the most significant symbolism of everything that I could ever hope for. In fact, at some point, this is going to be a tattoo somewhere upon my person. I've already, the first video that went out with this as a background is a follower that's been following me somewhat for quite a while, unsubscribed. This was probably the reason. You know why? Because it's lack of understanding, it's lack of knowledge, and it's lack of having the willing to do the research. This symbol has more religious pedigree than this cross. Let me explain before anybody else unsubscribes. Discarding the little bit in the middle, which the Satanic Churches added. So we're not talking about this. This, no, that's nothing. I don't agree with that. That's bullshit. That's not representative of me, what I believe, my work with these guys, or anything else. That's an add-in that other people have put in there. Okay, so this is probably one of the oldest symbols known to mankind since records began. This was actually first discovered in Mesopotamia, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And they would put this symbol, embark it upon all of their pottery. And the other thing that you may be interested to know, during the after the crucifixion, before, during, and after the crucifixion of Christ, the pentagram was the symbol of God, symbolic of Christ. In fact, to the point, it was for 500 years after the crucifixion of Christ, this was the symbol to symbolize everything, including the crucifixion. The 5 points in the religious circles, Christianity, etc., were to represent the 5 points of Christ, or the 5 wounds of Christ. So you see, this is not bad. This has never ever been bad. This is actually a beautiful, beautiful symbol. It was Pythagoras that actually allocated earth, air, water and fire to the 4 points. The 5th point, which was the top point, was actually spiritual. It was decreed that by having an inverted pentagram, the reason that it was bad, one of the reasons, was because it put materialistic, physical things above spiritual things. So that's one of the reasons it was deemed bad. Just think about that for a second. This is the original depiction of religion, Christ, and his crucifixion, and remained that way for 500 years after his crucifixion, until this came along. You want to go way back? Let's go to the Sumerians. Again, they adopted this symbol. This symbol to Sumerians was known as the Vault of Heaven, which was to do with Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and Saturn. So again, religious connotations. In Wicca, an inverted pentagram is not bad. It doesn't mean anything bad. An inverted pentagram in Wiccan tradition means a higher knowledge, an advancement, a second stage of understanding of the practice. So you see, it's Hollywood which has made this what it is. This is a wonderful symbol. It's my favourite symbol, and one I'm proud to carry, minus this dude, because he was never part of it. That was just an add-in, like I said, by the Church of Satan and other dark religious occultist practices. As I said, in Wiccan tradition, it's a second part of learning, of knowledge, learning and knowledge, and graduating to a second part of learning about the craft. In the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition, this meant no more than justice, mercy, wisdom, and understanding. That was the basis of this in the Jewish Kabbalistic practices at that time. So it's never actually represented anything bad. So apart from the now satanic connotations associated with this in the 21st century, when did it first become associated with something bad? This would be Pope Lucius III in 1184 in the Inquisition. Then there was another Inquisition in 1231, just bear with me, and then it was the Spanish Inquisition in 1478. Well, that's when everything effectively went tits up. Where did it all go wrong with this? That would be down to the former Pope Alphonse, what's his goddamn name? Alphonse Louis Constant in 1855, who wrote a book. There he decreed that this was evil. So it was in 1855 this actually all went tits up, and this was a great effort by the Catholic Church to combat what they considered to be heresy and to enforce their orthodox doctrine. There we go. That's what that was. So I think we pretty much covered this, guys. This is not evil. This is a symbol. It has no power. The other thing that's quite interesting is because Pythagoras, and because of the formula of this, the mathematical formula, each one of these points is actually, in a mathematical sense, represented as gold. Each point is represented as gold, as in gold, in a mathematical formula. So, and that is a pentagram. I'm quite happy with this, and do you know what, to be honest, I much prefer it to this, because I think this is pretty boring, to be fair, don't you? You know, it's a representation of Christ's crucifixion. But then again, so is this, the 5 wounds of Christ. So if anybody wants to unsubscribe because Don's got a pentagram, Don's going to have a tattoo of a pentagram because this symbolises my work, who I am, and what this whole thing is about. That's fine. Any Christians, and I'm not being disrespectful, any Christians that want to unsubscribe because they see this, that's fine as well. But do you know what? I've spoken about this before. If you want to follow religion, follow it properly, guys. Don't follow it blindly. Don't be lazy. Don't be idle. Do the research. I've stated this many, many times before. Take everything back to its roots, where it began, what it represents, and you will find that this, over thousands of years through many ancient cultures and civilizations, is the most religious symbol you ever like to come across. This is not just representative of Christianity. This is representative of the Mesopotamians, Sumerians, everything. But it has only ever meant good. This came along later. And this was banished. This all of a sudden became irrelevant. This then was adopted by the Satanic Church and other satanic groups, cults, etc., etc., etc. And then we've got the Hollywood thing and the whole movie thing, which again enforces its association with evil, the devil, dark forces. That is not the case. This is the original representation of good, of God, and everything associated with it. Coming up in a couple of weeks, Supernatural Files, we're going to be talking UFOs, and I don't mean generic UFOs, radio shows, interviews. I have a guy coming on who's well renowned within the UFO field. Very serious work. This guy again takes everything back to its roots. He's going to be joined by a colleague, a scientist. We're going to delve into a couple of cases in great detail. This is something that's been interesting to me. I've been to, I've done conferences, I've spoken at conferences, and I got put off because the problem is with people is, I've said this before, they're very good at telling stories, and there's a lot of people out there that want to be somebody and get attention. The easiest way to do that, one of the easiest ways, is to fake videos on YouTube. My house is haunted, all that bullshit you see, doors banging and stuff flying around. Guys, scrap it. 99.9% of that is fake, regardless of how sincere and how frightened the homeowners look. Trust me on this, I know how things work, I know what's possible, I know what's not. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but I know the frequency of things, how it works. It's pretty hard to explain, but I've been selected and I'm a pupil of these guys. I am their voice, I am a representative of these guys, and apparently, according to them, I'm doing a pretty good job. This channel is about the truth, nothing more, nothing less, just the truth. And as I said before, it may mean occasionally stepping on people's toes, but this field is something that should be taken very, very seriously by science. Science has not got the slightest clue when it comes to paranormal phenomena and how things work. I think about 4 weeks ago, Tony Rathman is a friend of mine, never met him, but this guy is absolutely incredible, him and his wife Cherie. I have said that I will never work with any other paranormal group again, but Entity Voices, Tony and his team, I love the way they respect the spirits. I love the way they operate. I just love them as people. They are absolutely fantastic people. So next year, me, Tony, Sherry, and maybe a couple of the crew, we've got a couple of projects underway. One of them is a genuine ghost town in Arizona. We're going to be doing that. Everything's still as it was. The stuff's still on the table from all these years ago. You know, the old pioneers and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to give a shout out to Entity Voices. If you've never heard of them, check them out. Absolutely fantastic, grounded guys. So guys, you need to follow them. Their methods are totally different to mine. You know, it's each to their own, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I respect Tony and his team, and I endorse Tony and his team because they're nice people, genuine people, sincere people, and they're doing the best that they can in the right way with total respect. Let's not forget, these are not just voices on a voice recorder. These are higher beings. These are beings, people, spirit people with vast knowledge, which under the right circumstances to the right people, they're only too willing to share. And do you know what? I'm very protective of them as they are of me, and I'm very protective of the subject of the paranormal and the supernatural. What's actually quite ironic if you think about it. Okay, so years and years ago, a little bit of backstory for you. I started out, I used to watch all the ghost shows on TV. I was like, wow, that's fantastic. That's before I realised that 95% of them was totally fake and scripted. I mean, I've done a lot of work now with production companies and shows, and I know how things work. Okay, and you're great. You know, I ordered my stuff off of eBay. I got my ghost beam barrier alarms and my K2 meter and everything else. But I always had this affinity with these guys way before then, and I was just starting out, and wow, look, the K2 meter's flashing, fantastic. Now this is the thing why I don't use equipment. Whether it's a K2 meter, a beam barrier alarm, or anything else, it could be spiritual intervention, it may not be, but the point is, whether it is or whether it's not, how can you prove that? You can't. A beam barrier goes off, a skeptic will say, oh, it's probably a spider. It could be anything, even a shadow. They're absolutely right. So I decided, I mean, I was using this for a little while. The K2 meter would start flashing. And we'll get excited. Whoa, look, wow, look. Wow, it's flashing. Oh, can you make it flash again? And it flashes. Great, fantastic. You know what? Probably a spirit. It's irrelevant, because you can never prove that that was a spirit affecting that equipment. You cannot prove that. I saw one video on YouTube, which was, I'm not going to mention the team's name because I don't want to disrespect anybody. This guy, he said, oh, it's me. Every time we went to the K2 meter, it started going flashing up to the red. And then 10 minutes in, it started flashing again. Then his phone rang. He got a goddamn phone in his pocket. Yeah, and you know, I understand that everybody's got to learn, but the problem is with some people, they don't learn. These people were not aware that, or at least him wasn't aware that if he's got a mobile phone in his pocket, it can affect the K2 meter. I saw a team that got into, you know, oh, you got a ghost in your house yet? We'll check it out for you. And they say, oh, there's CCTV cameras up and such forth. Oh, the meter's going off when they're walking around the house. Yeah. And then I saw this clip where they went into this room and you could clearly see the room they went to. Oh, look, it's really spiking now. Oh my God. And then a medium came in and said, oh, the energy in here is really strong. She obviously said that because the K2 meter was full red. Then as the camera swept by, I went, hang on a second, and I paused it. There was the Wi-Fi router with all its lights on, and obviously, and this team, and this was about 5-6 years ago, was making this whole thing on YouTube about the fact that the energy in this room was actually through the roof. No. If you're going to investigate any property, the first thing that you want to do, if possible, you just totally switch off all the power to the property, if possible. Switch it off. Fridge freeze or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's going to be fine for a couple of hours. Just totally cut the power off. But certainly, Jesus Christ, do not walk into a room and say, wow, look, there's a lot of energy in here, and you're standing next to a goddamn router, if you're American, router. Are you shitting me? You know, this is the problem. I've said before that skepticism is an integral part of your toolkit. That's what you should be doing. I'm skeptical about my own stuff. I try to debunk it, you know, things all the time. That's what we do. The Gainer is it. And that was a fascinating case. Gainer, she took a lot of shit from the press because she said, you know, this entity was attacking her. And it followed her around the supermarket, and it followed her when she went on holiday to Lanzarote. Everyone's giving a shit, a lot of shit. You can't do that because you wasn't there. You don't know. In the paranormal world and the supernatural world, there is a lot of, to most people, inexplicable evidence. Things that occur, paranormal phenomena. But it's real, guys. It is real. The world that you see, you get up in the morning, you get ready for work, you go to work, you get your weekend, you get your bills, you do your shopping, you go down the pub, you get a pint. That is not the world. That is your world, the one that you've been inducted into from a little child. And I've said this before. When you're born, you're a child and you're growing up, okay? Your mind is a blank page. You don't write that page. Religious institutions write that page. Society and government and the powers that be write that page. They tell you who you are, what your role is, what's possible, what's not. Guys, no. The biggest gift you can give yourselves, and it takes a lot of hard work. I've been there, I've done it, I've come through it. Is question everything and rewrite your own page. I've been doing that for many, many years, and do the research. I'm here in America, we're doing a lot of work, guys, and we're going to be digging deep. I will be going deeper than anyone has ever dared or even dreamed of, going deeper into the paranormal and the supernatural, because I can. I mentioned the experiments that I want to start introducing next year. These truly are groundbreaking experiments. The scientific world is not going to have a choice but to actually investigate this. I'm not going to go into a great detail about that now, but I've been talking about these experiments for the last 5 years, but now I'm in the right place to get the right people included in these experiments, because, you know, I don't just want to do something for YouTube. This needs to be done and peer reviewed and everything, because if I can't make a difference, some kind of difference to the paranormal world and repair some of the damage, then I will die trying, because the paranormal community, the paranormal world, the world of the supernatural needs a shake-up, and I'm going to give you that shake-up. Right, on a lighter note, let's see if our friends are going to talk to us this evening. Right, we've explained this. Fantastic symbol, absolutely perfect. I love it. Proud to be wearing it as a tattoo, minus the add-in, which is whatever. Okay, so let's see. Now it is really bad conditions outside, so let's just hope. Guys, I was just explaining how I've basically been a pupil of yours. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me just put this banana aside. In fact, you know what, hold on. It's really good. It's organic, obviously. Didn't feel anything evil there. Okay guys, so good evening Becky, and good evening everybody else. I was just explaining that I am your pupil, your voice, your representative as selected by you guys to be. So this here and this cross pentagram. Which one do you guys think is actually the most significant? Why do you consider that the most relevant? Bearing in mind that this is a lot older and this concerns more ancient civilizations throughout history than the Catholic or Christianity, which is obviously representative more of this. So why did you say the cross? Okay, let's see if I've got my Bluetooth speaker charged up and see if we can play through that, see if we can hear something better. Hold on, guys. Oh, that's the cross. Okay. Isn't it fascinating? Let's just move this. That in 1855, Alphonse Louis Constant writes a book that decrees this evil, and then all of a sudden it becomes evil, despite the fact that this was used throughout Christianity for 500 years after the crucifixion of Christ, and these represent the 5 wounds of Christ on that crucifixion. I mean, you know, one single person in 1855 was responsible for this becoming something evil and satanic. One person, he wrote a book in 1855, and this all of a sudden is, this is bad, this is evil. Wow. This is the problem with humanity and how things change. And bearing in mind, I don't want to keep coming back to this, but you know, this, actually, you know, let me light them candles because they're pretty. Hold on. Without burning myself, maybe. There we go. Are they pretty? Yeah, they're not fake ones, they're real ones. Okay. So anyway, where was I? We've got a whole lot of topics to cover. One thing that's disappointing is our views on this channel are crap. They're rubbish. Guys, share. This is important work I'm doing. There's information I want to release to you, answers to questions that have been around forever to do with the world, the paranormal and everything else. But I will not release them, the answers to them questions or that information, until, as Becky said, it gets bigger, a bigger audience. That's when she says I can tell you certain things, reveal certain information. You know what? I'm gagging at the bit here. I want to push this out. But it's not going to be until it's worth it, because we don't just want a YouTube video that's going to get 200, 300 hits and that information is out there. This is groundbreaking work and groundbreaking information. You know what? Not to put too fine a point on it. This is going to sound horrible, but I can't help it. It's the truth. I cannot think of anybody right now with more knowledge and information and understanding of the afterlife than me. I'm only too willing to share that, to give you a different perspective of how things are and the world and the afterlife. I can only do that when Becky says go for it. I can put little bits out here and there. I want to give everything to you. I want to give everything to the world. People can take it, leave it. They can do what the hell they want with it. That's not my problem. This channel is all about truth. That is all you're going to get. No fakery, no bullshit, no... Oh, God. Okay. Let's leave it there. You get the point. Share. We need to build this channel. And I'm not making any money off of this. This is not even monetized. This is just about the truth. Work with me. Let's get it out there. Let's challenge science. Let's do it. Science thinks it can just ignore this. It's like, pff, it's woo-woo. No, they're not going to come to us. Let's take it to them in a big way. This is testable, repeatable evidence. My experience next year will be groundbreaking. I've already said in a previous video that I'll probably have to crowdfund that, because I need the right people in the right place, in the right environment at the right time. Peer review, I ain't got a problem with. Okay, so let's talk to some guys for the last 5-10 minutes. And don't forget, next weekend, I'll put the information out. It will be a Supernatural Files Live. See which frequency is best on which recorder this evening. See where we're at. My God, do you know what? The paranormal has not changed for years, guys. Everybody's doing research and no one's bringing anything new to the table. We have got teams, hundreds, thousands of teams of investigators going out every single weekend, mostly weekends, with all their gadgets and everything, trying to get some proof and evidence. The problem is, what they deem evidence is not scientific evidence. We need scientific evidence, proof, for it to be valued, because there's thousands of teams out there all doing the same thing every weekend. No disrespect to them, but it's very, very samey. We need groundbreaking work. And you know what? I can't think of anybody doing any groundbreaking work right now. Can you? So let's that be us together. Let's not make a ripple in the water. Let's make a goddamn tidal wave. This needs shaking up. The whole paranormal scene needs shaking up. And like I said, you know what? If you step on people's toes occasionally, I don't want to offend people, but if it needs to be, then it needs to be, because this is about the truth. I'm fed up with the bullshit. I'm fed up with the conjecture. I'm fed up with the assumptions. I'm fed up with the facts out there, which are not actually facts, but deemed to be fact. People need to understand that because they believe something It is not necessarily the way things are. They need to base their belief on fact. Where does that fact come from? Not from a person in a group that's told them. That's not factual. That's them instilling their belief system upon you. And enough of that, and then you buy into that belief system. The world of the paranormal and the supernatural is not about belief systems. Belief systems has nothing to do with anything. It's not credible, it's not scientific, and it's not provable. We've got to get past that, guys. We've got to get past that. I don't want to disrespect mediums, but you know what? In this world, everybody wants to be somebody. And the easiest thing is to say, you know, a person gets pulled into a group, a mediumistic group, and all of a sudden they say, oh, you're a medium. That person's like, wow, fantastic, I'm a medium. They don't know any better. And they just buy into it. And then you've got to filter. What is your thoughts? You seriously have to filter, self-discipline, what you're thinking or what you think you're hearing in your mind. You've got to decipher what is actually in your mind, being put in your mind, or which is your mind just generating stuff because of your belief structure. Like I said, the paranormal world is shaking up, and god damn it, if I don't do it, I will die trying. Because it's about putting the credibility back into a very, very, very serious subject. The supernatural, the paranormal has been in my backyard for many, many years. I am a pupil of these guys. And no, they're not grounded spirits that can't get into heaven. These are good guys. Becky is not a normal spirit. It's quite ironic, isn't it? You know, I spent so long investigating the paranormal and the supernatural. And over time, I guess, in a way, I've become the actual subject of what I was investigating. I am the paranormal, I am the supernatural. How ironic is that? You know, fantastic place to be, don't get me wrong. But with that, we don't need ego, we don't need showmanship, we just need the truth. The problem is with the truth, some people don't want the truth, some people don't want to hear the truth, some people don't want to see the truth. Nevertheless, the truth is here, and here we are. We're going to be doing a YouTube live, so that gives you a chance to speak to me. I can send you a link, get you in on the show. I might get a bit of a phoning going. Guys, it's about transparency. It's about asking questions. It's about shaking up the whole paranormal field and adding credibility. So you know what? Don't pull any punches. You got a question, shoot it across. If I'm allowed to or I can answer it, I will answer it. In the meantime, again, I'm Don Phillips. This is the Supernatural Files. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We need to build this goddamn channel. Come on, this is important work we're doing here. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.